This is episode 12 of the SOC Level 2 pathway in TryHackMe, and in today's video we're going to be going through the Advanced ELK module, the last room, which is the Slingshot room, which is basically an exercise that is going to implement everything that we've learned so far in our Advanced ELK module. And all we're going to do is we're going to answer all of these questions in today's video. So we're essentially practicing everything that we learned over the last 3 rooms. So it's going to be a good one, and I'm excited to go through it with you. My name is Hank Hackerson at Hank Hacks Hackers, and I am your host for today. And if you would like to learn more about cybersecurity, pen testing, and ethical hacking, I encourage you to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you can join our community. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into our scenario for our challenge today. So here's the scenario. Slingway Inc., which is a leading toy company, has recently noticed suspicious activity on its e-commerce web server and potential modifications to its database. To investigate the suspicious activity, they've hired you and me as a SOC analyst to look into the web server logs and uncover any instances of malicious activity. To aid in the investigation, we have received an Elastic Stack instance containing logs from the suspected attack. Below, you will find credentials to access the Kibana dashboard. Slingway's IT staff mentioned that the suspicious activity started July 26th of 2023, so that's when it starts. And by investigating and answering the questions, we can create a timeline of events to lead the incident response activity. This will also allow us to present concise and confident findings that answer questions such as what vulnerabilities did the attacker exploit on the web server, what user accounts were compromised, what data was exfiltrated from the server. And our instructions are to start the machine, which I already did, start the attack box, which I already did. It says the Elastic Stack may take up to 5 minutes to fully start up, so if you receive any errors, just give it a minute. This is going to be the IP address that we're going to go to get our Elastic Stack instance, our Kibana instance, and these are going to be our usernames and passwords. And basically, that's it. That's all the information that we have. Everything else we're going to find out for ourselves, like what's the attacker IP, what's the first scanner that the attacker ran against the web server, what's the user agent of the directory enumeration tool, how many requested sources on the web server, what is the flag under the interesting directory, what login did the attacker discover using the directory enumeration, what was the user agent of the brute force tool that the attacker used, what username password combination did the attacker use, what flag was inside of the file that the attacker uploaded, what was the first command the attacker ran on the web shell, what file location on the web server did the attacker extract the database credentials from using the local file inclusion, what directory did the attacker use to access the database manager, what was the name of the database, and what flag was inserted into the database. So the reason why I read all of that in advance is that it kind of gives us an idea of the information that we're looking for and the route that we're supposed to take. So for example, there are fields on the fields that Kibana automatically extracts out of log files for you, like the user agent, like the device user agent, like the server number and the server name, right? So it's like just knowing what fields you're interested in, what fields you're going to be looking for to narrow down your search results will help you in starting the investigation, and then from there finding out which way to go and how to pursue the investigation. So that was the reason why we actually read all of those questions in advance. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually start our Kibana ELK Stack instance, which is going to be at this IP address. So I just copied it. And let's see if this is actually, yeah, so this is only subscribers that can deploy virtual machines. So there's a link to TryHackMe in the description below, and it has a discount in it just in case you want to actually get yourself a membership to TryHackMe. But you can always just kind of go through this just so you can understand the methodology so that you know how we got to where we got and how you can hunt down information. That's kind of one of the big things that you just need to know how to do anyways. So at the very least, you'll understand the methodology behind all these things. And then if you have a membership, then great. You can just tag along as we go through this. If you don't have a membership, it's all good. You're just learning as we're going through it anyway. So I'm going to give this a quick second to load, and then we're going to hunt down the info that we need. Okay, that was actually super quick. So we're going to click on this little hamburger menu in the top left corner right here, and then click on Discover. You should already know this if you saw any of our other videos. And it automatically just loaded it for us. And then down here, there's only one index that we have, which is the Apache logs index. So we don't have any other information. So this is where we're going to be doing all of our filtering. So based on some of these questions, right? So it says, what's the attacker's IP? What's the first scanner that they use to go against the web server? So we know we're looking for web servers. The user agent information is something that we're also looking for. More web server directories, login page on the directory. What else do we need? The local file inclusion, vulnerability, what directory, and we're looking for some flags. So at the very least, I know that we're going to be looking for some user agent stuff. I know we're going to be looking for some web server stuff, so probably HTTP requests and things like that. And these are things that are already popular fields that have been extracted for us, right? So we have response status, and I mean, you're looking at Apache log, so you should know that Apache is a web server or a brand of web server. So we're looking at Apache logs. We definitely want to be looking at the URL. So this is a nifty little thing. You can just add that to your field column. We're going to be looking for the user agent, which is right here, so we're going to add that to the field column. Let's see, what else can we find? Let's see, response status is probably actually super useful because you can find what was successful, what failed, how many attempts were made, and what else? Transaction remote address, that seems very interesting as well. And then there's just a variety of other things that are probably going to be interesting to us. Source IP might be interesting, and there's a bunch of other fields. So that was the first set of stuff. I just added some interesting fields that I want to kind of look for. And then the next thing I got to do is I got to change the date, right? Because it said it started from July 26, 2023. So we got to go right here, and we're going to click on this little drop down here, and we're going to go absolute, and then we're starting from July 2023. So I gotta go here, click on that bad boy, and then go here, and we're gonna go to July and July 1st, right? There we go. And then just press that. Oh no, whoops, my bad, wrong button. July 1st, and then update. There you go. That's what I was supposed to press. July 26, 2023. So actually my short-term memory has been destroyed from all of my years as a hooligan. Okay, here we go. Very good. So we got that. So July 26, 2023. And I think that's all I need to know here. Yep. Okay, cool. So what was the attacker's IP address? So that's what we need to find first. Okay, cool. So there we go. 3,028 hits is the total amount of hits. One extra thing is that when I clicked on this, originally it was set like to 23 hours or something like this at the bottom right here. And I went all the way to the top and I clicked on the quadruple zeros and I refreshed it, and it gave me the 3,000 hits. So it sounds like it was all that day, because later on in the day when I was at like the 23rd hour, I got no results. But then as soon as I went to the quadruple zeros, I got the 3,000 hits. So obviously it all happened in the same day. The first question is asking what's the attacker's IP address. So that one we can probably find by going to the remote addresses. And I mean, it's pretty it's pretty obvious. It's like a really big surge of traffic that came from 10.0 to 15. So let's copy this. And let's go run that. I think that's probably it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. So what was the first scanner that the attacker ran against the web server? Okay, to find the first scanner, the thing that we're looking for is a timestamp related issue. So usually it goes from the newest, so the stuff at the top is the newest, and it goes all the way to oldest. And we literally have 3,000 hits, so we want to make sure that we get the oldest first. So you just click on timestamp, and then you just sort, whoops, I think it's actually supposed to be old to new, so I just clicked on new to old. But we're going to go old to new, and there you go. That should update this at the very top right here. And so we should get the oldest searches at the top of this thing. And now we should be able to see what the scanner type of information was. Okay, so we don't have to scroll that far down. I actually don't think I scrolled far down at all to be able to find this. and it's right here. It actually says it. So not to be confused with Mozilla Firefox, because Mozilla does not necessarily represent Firefox. We have Nmap scripting engine is the very first thing that you notice, that if you recognize scanners in any way, you should recognize the name Nmap, and you should know what it is. It's a network scanner. Network mapper is what Nmap stands for. And everything prior to that is, Intel Mac OS, Windows NT, Win64, Apple WebKit, so on and so forth. So Nmap is probably it. But then there's also another way that we could do this is if we just go to the user agent thing that we have right here, we'll see that we have all of our results here. So GoBuster, Hydra is a password cracker that was used a frequent amount of times, so we know they're probably going to use Hydra. Or that's going to be at least one of our answers. GoBuster is an enumerator as well, where it tries to enumerate web addresses and web pages. GoBuster has a dirbuster extension to it that does directory enumeration, and it does subdomain enumeration. Hydra is a password cracker. Linux we already know. Windows NT we already know. Macintosh we know. Windows NT again. And then we have another one right here. Look, NMAP. And then if you just go through that, if you kind of hover over that, you'll see that it also says Nmap. So you can just see from the agents as well that we have Nmap. So the answer is Nmap scripting engine is what that is. And that's great. All right, so moving on to the third question. The third question says, what was the user agent of the directory enumeration tool that the attacker used on the web server? And I already know that it was GoBuster, because that's literally what I just saw in the results right here. So I know it's GoBuster, but I think they're looking for some kind of like a version number as well. So we're gonna try to see what we can find, and see what it is. Actually, you know what? I think it's literally the way that it's designed. They kind of gave it away in the format of this, because it has the / and whatever. So it actually looks like this: Mozilla 5.0 GoBuster. So I think this is literally just the answer. So I know GoBuster is an enumeration tool for directory enumeration. There we go. That's the answer for that. That one was super easy. So now we are moving on to the fourth question. And the fourth question is asking, in total, how many requested resources on the web server did the attacker fail to find? So how many requests on the web server did the attacker fail to find? So failed requests is what you're looking for here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to response status. And in response status, we have right here, 404 is going to be a failed status. And this is something that you can just check, right? So HTTP response codes. And then if we go here, usually on the images, there's like a really good one that just shows you, and this is it. This is like the perfect one. So you look at this and then you see, right, level 200 means that it's all good. These are successful attempts. Level 400 are failed. And then you have not found, forbidden, unauthorized, bad request, conflict. So not found is what we're looking for, because they say failed to find, right? So they failed their search, it was not found. So 404 is the one that we're looking for. So we go here and we look at 404. So top value is 404. And you could do this in a few different ways, right? So first and foremost, we can just make sure that from now on we're just dealing with our IP address that was kind of shady. So I'm just going to add this thing. If I click on this here on the plus, it should just add it to my queries. And it does right here. So transaction remote address is the failed address, and it updates all of our hits to 2500. And so from here, we can just either click on this to add it, the response status, or you could just type it in the search bar as well to add it. And I really honestly just like typing these things. So response status could be 404. You just press enter, and that should update everything for me. And now I have a 404 response status. And that is going to be 1,867 hits should be our answer here. Boom, there we go. So we got that as well. So in total, how many requested resources on the web server did they fail to find? 1,867. That's a lot of failed requests, dude. Like 1,800 failed requests is a lot of failed requests. Okay, so all right, so next thing, our next question, it says, what is the flag under the interesting directory that the attacker found? So what's the flag under the interesting directory that they found? All right, so what we need to do now, so look, this one said failed to find, right? So this one says found, meaning that we have to just basically change our response status, and then we're going to find something else as well, right? So that's the other piece to it. So found is what it's 200 is okay. I think that's the actual status code that we're looking for is 200. So they were able to find it. So that's what we're going to change our status code to. And then the directory enumeration tool is the other piece, right? So first and foremost, I'm just gonna go over here and go to my user agent, which is where we had our directory enumeration, which is the GoBuster thing. I'm just gonna add that to one of my filters because I need to narrow this down. And so GoBuster is the piece right there. And then I'm just gonna change my status to 200 for success. And now it's been narrowed down from 1800 to 9 hits, so they had 9 successful hits. Oh, right here, you see it literally right at the very top of this thing. So it says backups flag is this whole thing. So we're gonna just copy that bad boy right there, and we're just gonna go over here and we're gonna paste that over here, and that should be our flag. Voila, excellent. Okay, so next question says, what login page did the attacker discover using the directory enumeration tool? So we're going to be using the same exact tool in this regard, which is going to be our GoBuster. And we just need to modify a quick little thing right here. So I'm actually going to delete this from the top right here. And what we need to do, because if you sift and sort through those things at the bottom right here, it doesn't show any kind of a login page. It literally just kind of stops at those 9 results. So we're going to go and click on response status one more time, and this time I'm going to add it as a filter right here so that it shows up in this piece right here in this bottom section of all the filters. And then I'm going to click on this and I'm going to modify this, and I'm going to do a couple of things, right? So we just need to create exceptions, right? So it's like we want to make sure that the results that we see fall into a certain category of results, meaning so the response status is not 404. So I don't want a response status of 404, and I also don't want a response status of 200, right? So because we know from the 404 results, everything was denied, meaning they didn't find it. So that's definitely not the thing that we're looking for. And then we also have another one where the response status, again, because we saw all of the successful ones. So we also want the response status to also not be 200. So we want to see anything apart from 404, which is all the failed attempts, and then 200, which is all the successful attempts that we just reviewed, and there was nothing on there that looked like a login page. So all of the failed attempts, all of the successful attempts, I want to see everything other than those attempts. So if I update my filter now, we should get a different set of results. Now we have 8 hits. So instead of 1800 or 9, we have 8 hits, and now these are actually different codes. So the response status of 301, 401, 301. So if we went and looked at our little cheat sheet, 401 is unauthorized. So they found a page. It wasn't not found. They found it, but it's an unauthorized page, right? And then we don't have the 300 statuses. So I don't exactly know. I think 301 is around the same kind of the messaging, really. It's like admin page is not allowed or it's forbidden kind of a thing. So the login, they're looking for login, right? So the admin page, admin login is the page that we are looking for in this regard. So we're going to paste that bad boy right here, and that is definitely our answer. Now the next piece is going to be, what was the user agent of the brute force tool that the attacker used on the admin panel? So I already know that is Hydra because I saw it from the earlier list. But if we wanted to kind of just be fancy with it, we could literally just go here and we could delete our last few filters, so we'll get all of our other results back. And then we're going to go to our response status, and we want to now go to the 401 because that was the forbidden one, and we just want to add that forbidden one. And then if you just look at that, as soon as it updates, you'll probably see that we have in our tools right here Hydra right there. Look at that. So Mozilla 4.0 Hydra, this is a brute force tool that's used for web attacks, brute force password attacks. And so Hydra, I bet, is going to be our answer right there. I kind of knew it already. Yep, that is indeed the answer. So now we're going to move on to our next question. We're actually doing really well with these questions. So we're going to move on to our next, I don't know what number this is, but our next question. All right, what username password combination did the attacker use to gain access to the admin page? So since we know that they used Hydra to do their brute force, what we're going to be doing is we're going to change our agent now to Hydra, and then now we're just looking for a successful login attempt, right? So we're going to go, let me just go to the full screen actually. I'm going to go here, click on user agent, and I'm going to actually select Hydra, so that's going to be one of our filters. And then we're going to see all of the hits for Hydra, which is 483. And then now we want our response status to be one of the successful ones. So it was 99.8% unsuccessful. We want the 0.02% or the 0.2% that was successful, which is literally one hit. And so on this one hit, we will see that it was on the login page, obviously. So we want to view this, right? And to view it, we need to press this little expand button. The check mark is kind of irrelevant. So you click the little expand button, and it will now open up this whole thing right here. And we will see that there is some interesting information for us. And now we're just looking for something that could be decrypted, decoded, something that's useful for us to be able to turn into an actual username and password. And let me just zoom in actually so we can kind of get a better view of all this stuff. So we have, you know, ID index, things like this, and you just want to find something that would be useful, for example, something for authorization. All right, so request headers authorization, and we have this bit of code right here. And if you don't know what type of encoding it is, you don't need to really worry about it. There's a beautiful tool called CyberChef. And CyberChef has this little piece on it that it's called like magic or something. So if I just come over here and paste my input, which is going to be the piece of code that we want it to decode for us or decrypt for us, and then we go on the left side right here, from all the things that are available, there's something called magic. And magic kind of just detects what you got. Like it just assumes or tries to detect what you got. And in this particular case, it's base 64 encoding, and then it gets decoded for you. And lo and behold, look at that. You have admin, and then this is probably the password. So we're going to just take this whole thing. I think they want the full thing. So we're just going to take the full thing, and we're going to go here, and we're going to drop that. And boom, there you go. Okay, awesome. So now, what flag was included in the file that the attacker uploaded from the admin directory? What flag was included in the file that the attacker uploaded from the admin directory? So we're looking for an upload, and then we're looking for the admin directory. So there's a few things that we got to change here. I'm going to close this guy right here. We're just going to close this response code. We'll close our user agent. What we're going to go through is we're going to search for the HTTP URL because we're looking for the admin directory. And I'm just going to do a /admin, and then we're going to do an asterisk right here, or not an ampersand. We're going to do asterisk. There you go. So the asterisk is a wildcard character, and we're just looking for anything that has /admin in the URL to see if we can find any interesting stuff. So we have 508 hits from here. And let me see, I'm just going to close this little guy just to give us a little bit more room. And now we're looking for admin upload essentially in the URLs. So let's see if we can find something that resembles that. Oh, boom, right here. So admin upload.php action upload. So that seems interesting. And then there's another one right there, upload.php. So let's just click on one of these and just open it up. So we got the upload.php, and then let's see what we can find in the information here. All right, in the request body, we have the intel inside of here. So we're going to go, so body, form method, get, input type text, submit, form, and then PHP right here, asset. And then look at that. You got this thing right here inside of the asset, which looks very similar to a flag. So capture this flag is what we just did, and that should be it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, excellent. Moving on to the next question, which is, what was the first command that the attacker ran on the web shell? So there was a web shell obviously that they uploaded. So if we go to our previous, it's actually right at the top of the body. So when you go to the body, it's not the command, but at least we can find the name of the web shell. So which is this thing, easy simple web shell .php. So that's the name of the file. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace our previous thing with the easy web shell, whatever name. I'm going to wrap it in quotes just in case. Let's see if that'll be any good. All right, so excellent. We got 14 hits on this thing. Most of them are 404. So we're going to actually change our response status to a successful response status, which is 200. And now it's going to be 6 hits. Excellent. And then so what we're going to do is now we're going to change the timestamp again, and it's going to be the old to new, so we can see the very first thing that they did. And then we have the stuff. So the first command right here seems to be pwd, so print working directory. I think that's what the command is. So let's see. Actually, my bad. I was scrolled down already. It's when you go up here, there's the web shell successful, and then the first command is actually who am I. That's the first command that they ran. So who am I is going to be our first. Okay, excellent. What file location on the web server did the attacker extract database credentials from using local file inclusion? What file location on the web server did the attacker extract database credentials from local file inclusion? Okay, so we want to go to the HTTP URL /admin*. We want to get back to that series of events, and then we have a response status 200. So if we go through here, we can kind of try to see if there's, oh, okay, here we go. All right, so this is what is considered to be path traversal. When you do .. when you do something like this, that means you're trying to go up the directory. So for example, let me just show you what that actually looks like, just in case you don't know what Linux works like. So if we go here, this is our terminal, right? So if you're inside the terminal, inside of any Linux, or usually it even works inside of Windows, really any kind of command prompt. So if I do ls or print working directory, right, this is where I am. So let's say I go into desktop, and then I also go into tools, and then I also go into Binex, and then that's it. Okay, so now we're inside root. So previously up here we were inside root, right? And right now if I do print working directory, we'll see that we're inside root, desktop, tools, Binex. So I need to go from Binex to tools to desktop to root. So that's 3 levels I gotta go back to end up in the root folder. So I do cd ... not cc, so cd ... that takes me up 1, and then I'll do another one ... that takes me up 2, and I'll do another one ... that should take me up to the root directory again. So now where we are is the root directory. So this is what we call path traversal. Anytime that you do ... it takes you up one directory, and then it'll take you up another one, and so on and so forth. So knowing this, if we go here, we can see that this person is trying to do exactly that, right? So they're trying to go up, and then they try to go inside the etc password folder, which is a very important folder because it has all of the usernames listed. Then they try to go into self-environ, which probably is one of the users, and then they php my admin configuration php file, and so on and so forth. So they're trying to go into some kind of path traversal, right? And so config db php sounds like a database file. So config database php, right? So if we're trying to look for a database path, that would be my guess. So if I want to go and try to find what it is, I would probably just copy that. So the etc php my admin config, I think I need to do a / first. There we go. So etc php my admin config database php file. That's the file location that they extracted database credentials, because it's a configuration file for databases. So what directory did the attacker use to access the database manager? What directory did the attacker use to access? So I would say it's probably, I think it's this, right? Or no, not my admin, php my admin. There you go. Yeah, so that's it. This is the directory that the configuration manager for the database is in. What was the name of the database that the attacker exported? So now we want to try to find the actual database that they they exported, right? Because they were trying to find the databases in the configuration file. And now we're trying to find the database that they actually exported. All right, so since we actually know where they went, so it's php my admin, and then we just do our little asterisk trick like so, and we got 144 hits that were all successful. And from here, I would say we're going to go do the timestamp thing. I think we're already on old to new, but let's just make sure that we're on old to new. And now we're looking for the database that they exported. So let's see what we can find here. Okay, boom, right here. So php my admin export.php. But in real life, it's probably not going to be this simple to like find them. So I think it's probably the one that actually says, you know, export my PHP or export.php. So let's try to click in this and see what's in here. All right, so here's what we got. And then we're going to try to find the actual meat and bones of this message here, this export file. Let's see what we can find. There we go. So we got our message. And let's try to expand the message. So this kind of requires a little bit of an analytical eye, but I would say if you also kind of know, I guess, what you're looking for, you can probably try to search for it. But there is a portion right here where the body of the message starts, and then at the very beginning we have DB database equals customer credit cards, and I think that's probably it, customer credit cards. So let's see if that is it. Yeah, that is it. Okay, great. This one, I mean, this is kind of like, you really got to know what to look for, really, because it's it's like very condensed, just a bunch of shit mixed in together, excuse my French. Okay, so now we have the very last question here. What flag does the attacker insert into the database? So I mean, it's probably still here. So let's see what else we can find inside of our php my admin that might be of interest, that might look interesting. Okay, so I saw the word import, and then I modified my little thing up here to be asterisk import asterisk, which basically means there's anything could be between php my admin and the word import, and then anything could be after the word import, just to see if anything interesting might come in. So, you know, we see php my admin and a bunch of things, and then you have the word import, and then same thing here, and then there's one right here that says import .php, which looks promising. So let us see what we find in here, and we're gonna go in our message here. Let's see if I can find anything here if we expand it. Okay, and then I just did a Control F, which basically opens up the little find menu, and then I typed in insert, because that is the word that has been highlighted here. And so if we go here, interestingly enough, we see a little bit of an SQL query, right? So your SQL query has been executed successfully, and the SQL query was insert into credit cards, card number, cardholder name, expiration date, so on and so forth, and then the values are these things right here. So it looks like he inserted a credit card information, card number, so on and so forth, expiration values, and same thing here again. So this is basically what's been inserted, it seems like, and I wonder if that's it, because that's what he inserted. Like, he's inserting a card. So let's see. Oh, that was it. Oh my gosh, now I gotta find a way to zoom out of this. Okay, that was it. So that was our last question. We got it. We finished. All right, congratulations for making it all the way to this moment. This is epic. This was cool. I had a lot of fun doing this. I hope you did too. I hope you learned from this process that we went through, and you saw the value of using a tool like Kibana and ELK Stack, and how easy this makes the whole process. Because imagine if you had to go through all of those log files manually and grep through them and search through them and all that stuff. So very, very useful. It was like it was a great little experience to kind of combine all the tools and everything that we had learned. And really, you don't really even need to know much, because it's like point and click at this point. Like if you just kind of know, that you need to be looking for HTTP codes, and if you recognize certain tools like Hydra and GoBuster and things like that, like when you recognize those things, it makes it pretty simple. Like it makes it fairly straightforward. So this is where all the information that you learn compiles. Like I learned about Hydra in a different room, and I learned about GoBuster in a different room, and I use those tools, and I'm like, oh, okay, I recognize GoBuster because it's an enumerator. It enumerates websites and enumerates web applications. I learned about Nikto, which does the same thing. I learned about Hydra when we were trying to do pen testing and we were trying to break into a web form, and that's what it does, is it brute forces into web forms and yada, yada, yada. So you learn all these things, and then you come to a room like SOC 2 or, Advanced ELK Stack, Slingshot, SOC 2 or whatever, and you're like, oh, okay, all of this stuff is kind of making sense. I recognize these names. So hopefully it was as recognizable for you as it was for me. If not, now you kind of have another level to your education, and hopefully that was useful. So that was it for the Slingshot room, and it was fun. I had fun, and I hope you learned a lot, because I got a chance to learn as well. If you did indeed get value from this channel, I do encourage you to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell and join our community, and even comment. You know what? I really genuinely love seeing the comment section, and as you can tell, there was nothing that I hadn't responded to, because I make it a point to respond to everything that comes in. Even people that criticize the channel and criticize the content, I recognize them, I respond to them, and I like to see people's point of view on this. So hopefully this was something that actually was valuable to you and you learned from it, and I would love to hear your feedback on it. And it's beautiful to see that our community grew the way that it did, and now our memberships for Hackaholics Anonymous are also growing, and people are getting extra value on that side with all the Python scripts and the Discord chats and the early access to content and so many things. Like it's too much to just start listing, and there was a plug already at the beginning of this video about Hackaholics Anonymous, so I'm not gonna beat it with beat the dead horse or whatever the phrase is. But I would love to hear you in the comment section, and I would love for you to join our community. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notification bell, and if you are interested in advancing your education, there's always this little thing called Hackaholics Anonymous, which is our membership community that just launched recently, and I'm very, very happy to see that people are actually joining that community as well. It's your boy Hank Hackerson at Hank Hacks Hackers, your favorite network and system attacker / protector, and love, peace, and chicken grease. If no one else loves you, you know Hank loves you. I will see you in the next room later.